It's funny, I hum this song quite a lot because it's so sweet, but the lyric is, I spy with my little tired eye, but I always sing, I spy with my little side eye. I don't know why. I spy with my little side eye. Hello everyone, you're very welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Amy, I'm a musician, I play guitar and I sing, and I make videos that consist mostly of cover songs, guitar content, vlogs, and I also just really enjoy talking about music and music related things. And sometimes I like to discuss cultural things about Ireland. So apparently Taylor Swift is Irish? I am working on a different video at the moment and I took a quick little social media scroll break, which I admit, trying to do less of, since I literally feel it rotting my brain from the inside out. But anyway, that's a different conversation. But I'm seeing a lot of articles online that Taylor Swift has confirmed Irish roots. Obviously, my curiosity is piqued because my channel is about music and being Irish, so naturally, this has piqued my interest. Of course, with me being a relatively new Swiftie. I figured I might have some thoughts, so I just decided to sit down and film and delve into this today. I am anticipating a lot of Taylor Swift in the Irish press since the Eras Tour is coming to the Aviva Stadium in Dublin later this week. Fun fact, I've only been to the Aviva once in my life and it was back in 2016. I went to see Phil Collins, supported by Mike and the Mechanics and Blondie, and it was one of the best concerts I was ever at. So the first article that I saw published was on IrelandBeforeYouDie.com. Just when we thought we couldn't love her anymore, genealogy reports confirmed that the love story singer has Irish roots. The biggest thing in pop right now, Taylor Swift has taken the music and media industry by storm. Now, as if she didn't have enough going for her, recent genealogy reports have confirmed that Taylor Swift is Irish. The superstar, born in Pennsylvania in the west of the United States. That's a very Irish way to say that, by the way. The west of the United States. I feel like we would say the west of Ireland. I might be wrong, but I don't think that's a thing that Americans would say. California, the west of the United States. Isn't Pennsylvania in the east, though? Yeah, it is. Okay. Anyway, gained global renown for her musical talent and inspiring backstory. Boasting a huge global fan base that spans generations, Taylor Swift is the biggest thing in the music industry right now, so we're pretty delighted to find out that she is in fact one of our own. It's been confirmed Taylor Swift is Irish. No need to check your calendars because this really isn't a joke. Ahead of her much anticipated arrival at Dublin's Aviva Stadium next week, experts at the Irish Emigration Museum teamed up with the Irish Family History Centre to reveal the pop star's ancestral ties to Ireland. According to their findings, we don't even have to look that far back in time to discover that Taylor Swift is Irish. Okay, I have taken a quick glance at the Facebook comments. That was a big mistake. I'll just never understand why people on, I don't know, I feel like Facebook's particularly bad, but why people just think they can say really nasty things and be so mean-spirited and think that that's okay to talk like that. I don't, or to write messages like that. I'll never understand that. But anyway, nastiness aside, I can see a lot of people and the internet having conflicting arguments with this. Sometimes I'm a little divided myself on this kind of thing, and I'm gonna get into why. But I think it does actually come down to individual people, and I'll tell you why. To say that somebody's Irish and then go on to say that they were born in Pennsylvania or wherever, like the comments there were littered with that, like, well, you're not Irish if you weren't born in Ireland. A lot of people think that way. If you aren't born in Ireland, then you're not Irish. And I actually don't necessarily think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think that there's a difference between nationality. I just grabbed my hair. I think that there's a difference between nationality and heritage. The best example, I think, of this is somebody that maybe wasn't born in Ireland, but they have Irish parents, or they have one Irish parent. They don't technically have the nationality, although they could claim a passport through their parent if they wanted to. But they're still very much exposed to the culture and the upbringing Even if some people might say they're not technically real. I don't even know what that means, real Irish. That doesn't, like, what does that even mean? There are lots and lots and lots of people born outside of Ireland to Irish parents. Like, it's purely circumstantial, whether they moved back or whether they grew up out of the country. I still think they can be Irish if they want to be. I don't think that matters. I call my dog half Irish, so, you know. All of that being said, kind of on the flip side, I do understand the frustration that some people feel with this kind of thing, because honestly, I felt it myself at times after moving to the States and being out of Ireland. I've had these interactions with people with, you know, varying responses. I can admit to have in the past feeling a bit fed up with the kind of I'm Irish thing. But again, I think it comes down to the individual person that you have that conversation with. Okay, this is kind of my opinion on the whole thing. This is the thing, right? Irish people, when we meet other Irish people away from home, there's kind of this unspoken conversation rule. I don't know, it might be innate in all of us, whether we realize we're doing it or not. It's just something I've noticed, like, since having moved away. You kind of have a new perspective when you look back and you're like, oh, yeah, I do that a lot and have done that a lot with other people. But we have to find out where the other person is from, find the degree of separation, and see how close we can make the connection. Just as an example, two people from Ireland, they meet abroad. And one is like, oh, I'm from Wexford. And the other one's like, I'm from Galway. And the Wexford person says, oh, I have a cousin that works in Spiddal. I don't know. And the Galway person is like, oh, yeah, I used to live there or whatever. I might have known your cousin or so, you know, something like that. That maybe the other person knows a family member or a friend. And then you're like, ah, okay, that's the degree of separation between me and you. I don't know if I'm explaining this properly. I have a really good story for this though. And this is still like one of my favorite stories. And this is why I think this is a thing, because of how this made me feel, this interaction. This was back in like the end of 2019, right before the pandemic. I went to Hawaii. I went to a guitar camp it was like over New Year's. My first time ever in Hawaii. I never thought I would go to a place like Hawaii. Myself and Ashton, we were flying back. So we were at the airport in Maui to fly back here, and we had some time before our flight. So let's go have a drink. So we go sit in a bar. We sit at the actual bar just to, you know, have some sippage before our flight. And so barman asks for ID. So I give him my passport and he hands it back to me. And the guy sitting next to me goes, where are you from? And now I am from County Mayo, so I typically don't say County Mayo because most people go, huh? I've never heard of that. Or they'll make some joke about mayonnaise or something. So I usually say I'm from near Galway, because my hometown is actually like less than an hour from Galway. So I usually say, oh, kind of around Galway, like the west of Ireland. Or I say close to Galway. That's usually like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that. So that's usually does it for people who aren't familiar. But this guy goes, oh, where in Galway? I'm actually from County Mayo. And he goes, I'm from Cong. And I literally was like, oh! So the dynamic completely changed, because it's like, okay, we understand each other now. And then I was like, I love Cong. And then he said, I know your hometown. I used to go swimming there. And I'm like, oh my God, do you remember the old swimming pool? So it was like, we're buddies now. We know each other. We're from the same place. Just the most random, you just never expect to meet anybody from home in Maui, of all places, on the other side of the planet. It's such a great story, because anyone at home I've told that story to has been like, oh my God, how did you meet someone from Cong in Maui? That's so crazy. That's a really perfect example of like, okay, we know each other. We get it. Like, we're from the same place. It was like talking to a friend. Like, Ashton was the third wheel. Like, it was literally, I felt like I was talking to an old friend. I really like that when you're able to like connect with somebody from home. It's a really, really special feeling. So then it does get tiresome, I will admit, when you talk to somebody who says they're Irish, but they don't you know, they probably were born in the States or born somewhere else, and they actually don't know where they came from. Because again, if somebody tells me, if someone or somebody knows or finds out I'm Irish, or I tell them, oh, I'm from Ireland, and they're like, oh, I'm Irish too. And I'm like, oh, where? Where are you from? I'm like genuinely excited. Like, tell me where you're from. And they're like, oh, my great, great, great granddad came from, I don't know, actually. It's just so deflating. Because I'm like, oh, I got excited. And I guess that conversation's over. Again, I just think it's the difference between nationality and heritage. Like, one is not better than the other. It's just they don't quite mean the same thing. And I think there is a difference between the two phrases. I am Irish and I have Irish roots, or I have Irish ancestry, or whatever. My advice, I think, this is a bit of a tangent, oh my gosh, but my advice to anybody who grew up in another country, but you know you have ties to Ireland, I would say do your research. If you're going to tell people that you're Irish, especially to other Irish people, I would just say do your research, look into your family history, find out who your relatives are or were and where they came from, like specifically what part of the country, even if it's the tiniest little town or village in the middle of nowhere, like, I don't know, Frog Balls, Nebraska, or whatever the Irish equivalent of that might be. Have that information ready so that if you do bump into somebody from Ireland, you can actually have a conversation of, oh, my relative was from this place, and, you know, you can have and do the degree of separation thing. I don't know, that's how I feel about that. Again, I just think it's a really interesting conversation. I'm not trying to shame anyone who wants to claim being Irish. I actually think that that's a really wonderful thing, and that's really cool. Cool. I actually think that's really cool. Like, it's a compliment, honestly, that somebody might feel so drawn to the culture that they want to be part of it. As an example, Irish dancing. Like, you do not have to be Irish to be an Irish dancer. Anybody can do Irish dancing. It's open to anyone who wants to do it. And the reality is, so many people have Irish roots. Like, that is just the way it is. And again, I don't want to like shame anybody and be like, you're not Irish because you weren't born there. Like, I don't know. I understand the frustration that people have with that, but I also think just be open. It's a compliment. Again, just my whole thing is, if you're going to say I'm Irish versus I have Irish roots, just do the research. Just look into where you come from if you really, really are, if you're that interested in claiming it. Like, look into it. I've had so many conversations where I felt so disheartened afterwards, where I'm like, oh, where? And they're like, I don't know. So in my mind, then I go, well, then you're not Irish. And I'm like, oh gosh, why did I have that thought? So if you don't want to look into your family history, that's totally fine. But maybe just stick with the roots thing. Just say you have roots and you don't know where exactly. I think, am I wrong?
Looking for his roots, I suppose.
At the end of the day, I think it comes down to the individual person, and it comes down to respect. Sometimes we can get a little fed up with, I'm Irish, whatever this is. I don't know what this is. Apparently, this is what people think being Irish is, just this kind of, it just gets disheartening. It gets disheartening and you feel a bit, oh. The person that comes to mind for me is Des Bishop. I have to remind myself that he is American. I always think of him as an Irish person because I suppose he spent a lot of time in Ireland, and he lived in Ireland and became acclimated with the culture that was then able to put it all into his comedy routine and then kind of throw it back to the Irish people as 100% accurate so we can laugh at it because it's true.
So that's it, I'm here now. That's the point. I'm stuck here. I've embraced Ireland, that's it. People in New York don't know who the I am. Irish people come up to me, my family's in New York, they never heard of you. It's like, I know, New Yorkers don't find it funny when an American can do a Cork accent.
His stuff is hilarious, by the way. Perfect Irish accent. He can do an amazing Irish accent. And he actually speaks Irish too, which is so flippin' cool. So anyway, back to Taylor Swift. That's why we're here today. I'm really excited that the Emigration Museum and the Family History Centre are involved because it sounds like they've looked into old archives, which I am actually a sucker for these stories. I love all these old stories, you know, shows like Who Do You Think You Are, that type of thing. I just find them so interesting to see where people come from. And I am biased, especially if they do have ties to Ireland. I'm like, Oh, okay, I need to know. Recently, I was at the Titanic exhibition in Las Vegas, and it was just so fascinating to like read people's stories and where they came from and what led them to the Titanic, and you know, whether they survived or not, and then what they went on to do after that. I don't know why, I just find that so interesting. People from the past that have all led to here, us people today. I'm very interested in this. Like this is my thing. So the Irish Times did an article as well. It turns out Taylor Swift is a Derry girl. Taylor Swift is part Derry girl, according to the Irish Immigration Museum, with the help of their genealogy partners. Family History Centre looked into the performer's family history in advance of her 3 concerts in the Aviva Stadium at the end of this month. The museum is delighted to uncover the pop superstar's Irish roots that link her back to Derry. Director of Marketing Epic Yvonne Murphy said, "Who knew Taylor was a Derry girl? This discovery adds a rich layer to her personal history and highlights the enduring impact of Irish immigrants. It's great to be able to share this news with Swifties worldwide ahead of her gigs in Dublin next week." According to the research, 172 years before the release of Taylor Swift, oh my gosh, Taylor Swift's hit single Love Story in September 2008, 2 young people emigrated from Ireland to the United States, boarding the ship Amy. Oh, coincidence. Sailing from Derry on June 11th, 1836, hoping for a better life in Philadelphia. I moved to the States on June 10th. Coincidence? I think not.
Coincidence? I think not!
I'm going to go to the Immigration Museum. I've actually never been here, but I've passed it so many times. I would love to go here. They have the whole story, it looks like. The love story before Love Story. I will link all of these articles in the description, by the way, if anybody wants to go look at these themselves. On September 12th, 2008, Taylor Swift rose to her fame with single Love Story. This was her first exploration of the themes of romance, personal growth, and in some respects, heartbreak and tragedy. However, this wasn't the beginning of her relationship with these themes. There was a love story before Love Story. 172 years before the hit single, Saturday 11th of June 1836, 2 young people emigrated from Ireland to the USA aboard the ship Amy. Again, you're welcome. Sailing from Derry. Along with some friends, they sought their fortunes in Philadelphia. Susan Davis was a 21-year-old dressmaker. Frances Gwynn, a 21-year-old weaver. Okay, that's a match made in heaven. I'm sorry. A weaver and a dressmaker, the same age. I'm thinking of like Taylor Swift's outfits and stuff. I'm like, that's meant to be. A voyage of fate. Their chance encounter sewed. What the hell is wrong with me? Their chance encounter sewed the seams of a tale that would transcend generations and create a global impact far greater than either could have ever imagined. Their 2-month-long voyage culminated in the ship docking in Philadelphia on August 20th. Isn't that so crazy? We're so used to kind of zipping around the world now that the fact that it took 2 months to get from Derry to the States. From uncertainty to I do. It's unclear if Susan and Frances departed together and went their separate ways, or if they stayed in touch. What is clear that 3 years later, the pair married. A love story that sparked generations. Their love burned bright and delivered them 6 children: Anne, John, William, Francis, Joseph, and Mary. Although sadly, 5 of those children predeceased Susan and Frances, they were survived by daughter Mary Gwynn, who was Taylor Swift's great-grandmother. Mary laid the loving couple to rest a mere 2 months apart. Some might speculate the latter died of a broken heart, or that might be just folklore. I love folklore. Sorry, that's my favorite one. Okay, that's crazy. So Mary Gwynn is Taylor Swift's great-great-grandmother. Her grandmother's grandmother, right? Her great-grandmother would be her grandmother's mother. So her great-great-grandmother would be her grandmother's grandmother. Okay, so I'm thinking of my grandmother's grandmother. Like, that's not, I mean, it's not the same lifetime, but that's not that far back. Do you know what I mean? That's actually really cool. Susan and Frances' story serves as a wonderful reminder that love can help us endure the toughest journeys, a theme so often encapsulated in Taylor's lyrics. What would that young couple who traversed the Atlantic in the 1800s think of their great-great-great-granddaughter's stratospheric rise to fame? Immense pride, no doubt. I don't think any of us alive today can comprehend Taylor Swift's level of success. I think it kind of defies everyone, including Taylor Swift herself, I'm sure. Like, how did I get to this level? I don't think any of us could ever even dream of that. So I'm sure for people who lived 200 years ago or whatever, it's gotta be like not even in the realm of possibility. Oh my gosh, they have a free poster. Swiftie special, download your free Taylor Swift poster. That's beautiful. I'm gonna download that. Hey Swifties, get ready to celebrate Taylor's Irish heritage with our exclusive, beautifully illustrated poster by the Irish artist Lauren O'Neill. This stunning artwork tells the romantic tale of Taylor Swift's great-great-great-grandparents who emigrated from Derry. Okay, I'm saying all the same stuff again, but after all, who knew Taylor was a Derry girl at heart? I'm downloading this poster because it's absolutely beautiful. Oh, they're having an event. Oh, I wish I could go. That would be so cool. Our one-of-a-kind guided tour exploring the Irish roots that shaped Taylor Swift, Yeats's influence in her songs, and the love story of her ancestors. Hear tales of the bluegrass beats from Ulster emigrants and uncover how the Clancy brothers were rocking the Aaron jumper long before Taylor made it iconic. Her collabs with Ed Sheeran and Rihanna enjoy the magic of the Irish pub. This is really cool. Also, did you know Taylor Swift's Irish roots can be traced throughout Dublin? In 1866, Taylor Swift's great-great-grandfather George Finlay enlisted in the Royal Navy and later settled in the UK after meeting Emma Maria Whiffen in South Africa. Their son George was born in Southampton, but they separated shortly after. Then he recorded himself as a bachelor, where he married Louisa Anna Darling in Dublin in 1880. The Finlay family, with their artisan roots, were members of Dublin's Hosier Guild for at least 3 generations, moving through neighbourhoods like Phibsborough, Portobello and Harold's Cross as their fortunes improved. I used to go through Harold's Cross when I'd go to college. I used to pass through Harold's Cross. Gosh. See? Degree of separation. Okay, that's all really interesting. I'm downloading the poster. I'm gonna put my email in. Head over to your inbox where your exclusive poster will be ready to download. I'm so excited. I'm gonna print it. Okay, so Taylor Swift is a Derry girl. I love this. I need a Taylor Swift album about this whole thing. Like, what an amazing story. You know, I'm not going to be one to be like, she should write about this, because she's going to write about whatever she wants to write about and what inspires her. But if she knows that this is a thing, what an amazing story. If Taylor ever wrote an album in the future that was in the style of Folklore and Evermore, but fused with Irish traditional music, oh my god, I can picture that now. Haunting Celtic drones, somber uilleann pipe melodies reflecting the sadness of emigration. Her lyrics and her storytelling of her great-great-great-grandparents leaving their home, meeting on board the Amy, falling in love and setting up their new life together in the land of opportunity. I'm sorry, but that music would be stunning. Plus, she has mentioned Ireland in music before, like in Sweet Nothings, she mentions Wicklow and a tiny little pebble. We almost forgot it. Does it ever miss Wicklow sometimes? Ooh, 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 ooh. So it might not be completely out of the realm of possibility. Final summation. Taylor Swift is a Derry girl. And I am perfectly okay with this narrative. Now that I know this information, I will never unknow it, and I need to see Taylor Swift as part of the Derry Girls cast. Accent and all, we need Saoirse Monica, Nicola, Louisa, Jamie Lee, James, and Taylor Swift. I can picture it. I can picture it. Wait, should I do a Taylor Swift song in a Derry accent? I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit. Hang on. Okay, now I am getting ahead of myself here. Derry accent is hard. I have to get into character. I have to channel my inner Nadine Coyle. It's one thing to talk in an accent. It's another thing to sing in an accent. It's actually much harder, I think. I'm from Larkhill in Derry. Date of birth is 15 to the 685. It's a wee cat. It's a wee cat. Is my passport in the car? Look at the wee cat. Okay. Is it curl that I said all that? Is it childhood in my head? 'Cause I know that it's delicate. Oh my god. Is it curl that I said all that? Is it curl that I said all that? Is it too soon to do this yet? As a nut, 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 as a nut. Oh, as a nut. Aye. It's delicate. It's delicate, mommy. Isn't it delicate? It's one thing to talk it, it's another thing to sing it. Asana. What the hell am I doing? Delicate, isn't it? I? Oh, I, isn't it? Oh, I, isn't it? Delicate. Yeah, I don't know. My Derryness is not nearly strong enough for this. I've never been to Derry. I don't know anybody personally from Derry, so I don't really know a lot of the colloquialisms. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you watched it all the way through, my condolences, but I really do appreciate it a lot. Leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you watch this and you liked it and you think, oh, I wonder what else kind of videos she's gonna make. I wonder what her music sounds like. Maybe consider subscribing. Also make sure you hit the notification bell as well so that you don't miss when I post my cover songs, my guitar shorts, my vlogs. I go live every week performing cover songs and hanging out with the chat. It's a lot of fun, so hit the bell so that you don't miss it. I've actually posted a Taylor Swift cover in the past. I've done a cover of You Need to Calm Down and it sounds like this. You got crowns, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. You're being too loud. Also, if you're a Swiftie watching and you know me and you know what I sound like and what my music sounds like, leave me your suggestions in the comments. What songs as Swifties would you like to see me do? I kind of have a whole bunch of ideas. I have a few planned. I just need to finish them. But what songs could you hear me doing? I'd love to get other perspectives. I am planning a cover of Fortnite. I think I could do a good job of Fortnite. Also, anything from folklore, honestly. I love Mirrorball and August and Cardigan and The Last Great American Dynasty and Betty. They're all great songs. I really like them a lot. So that's kind of where my mind is at, but you never know. Somebody else's suggestion could be even better. And just by the way, as a really super quick side note, I see comments a lot about people saying Taylor Swift can't sing. Anyone who says Taylor Swift can't sing is just an idiot to the highest degree. Like, are you so blinded by hatred or envy or whatever it is that you're just failing to see what's right in front of you? I love delving into music. It's what I do a lot, you know, for working on videos for this channel, is I delve into songs that I love, especially if I'm going to cover them. I completely break them apart and, you know, listen to all the different parts and then try and put them together as myself. So I really get to know a lot of songs that way, and I love it. It's my purpose in life. It literally brings me so much joy and happiness. So I love that I have YouTube, that I can share that with people, but because I love music so much. Taylor Swift songs I just find much trickier. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me and my style, but every time I have to learn to sing a Taylor Swift song, like, I really have to break it down, especially the vocal lines. There's so many like subtleties. You might sing a line, or if you're learning a song and you listen to one line and then you learn it, like you sing it back. And I'm like, oh, I sang that flat. I have to really break down the melody and make sure I get all the notes right. You might not hear it all together, but when it's broken down, I'm like, oh, I have to really work at all these little intricate things. Like, if that was a guitar line or a guitar solo, it would be like, oh my gosh, so creative and so cool. But for some reason, that's just overlooked by a lot of people. I don't know why. I have a lot of respect for Taylor Swift and her music. I just think she's great. If you missed my last video that I posted, I was in Ireland recently visiting my family at home, and I took vlog footage, so I put that all together nicely in a video. So check out some of that as well if you haven't already. Also, take a look at the short section of my channel. I tend to post like little clips from previous videos, highlights from live streams, and I also just recently posted a School of Rock short that I will be doing more of because I love School of Rock, and they just recently made the soundtrack streamable. So that's kind of what prompted that idea. Is I'm kind of, you know, currently loving School of Rock again. I may even do a video on School of Rock, like why it means so much to me. So let me know if you'd like to see that video. There are some links in the description as well if you would like to support me further. I do have a Patreon, I have a YouTube membership community. I also have a merch store as well with a lot of music and Irish inspired designs. The link is in the description below, check it out. I also have the links to the two talented artists that have designed my merch, which is my sister Laurie and Charlotte Mercer, who lives in the UK. UK. Both extremely talented, so I want to share their links with you to check them out on Instagram and Etsy. If you do decide to become a Patreon supporter or a YouTube member, you will get access to behind the scenes content, such as little vlogs, little updates that I post. I also put names in the credits of my videos just as a way to say thank you so much for supporting me and allowing me to put so much time into videos and music, because I truly do love it so much. Also, all members and Patreon supporters get access to a monthly private live stream that we do. It's always so fun. It's like a little hangout. It's very intimate. There's only like a handful of people there at the moment, so it's really nice. It feels like a nice little weird Zoom catch up that's not on Zoom. I'm the only one on camera, so it's weird, but it's really nice. It's a nice little community we have here. Everything linked down below. I do appreciate anyone who chooses to support. Thank you so much again for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye.